Hey everyone. Okay, so are you struggling to stay on track because you keep comparing yourself, the way that you look, the way that you act, how much money you make, your branding, your personality, your style? Are you having trouble staying on track because you and the comparison monster have a relationship, a deep and abiding, committed relationship with each other? Are you finding it hard to stay on track because you keep seeing, well, look at Susie Q over there. They are doing things big, whereas I'm doing things small. And look at Joe Schmo over there. They are so much farther than I am. Oh my gosh, and we've been doing this for the same amount of time, or actually I've been doing this longer than them. And Joe Schmo just he doesn't know half the stuff I know, and Joe Schmo just blew up out of nowhere. What's so great about him? Yum, yum, yum. Is that you? Are you struggling to stay on track because the comparison monster has got you feeling discouragement and frustration with the fact that there are other people doing things in your field or doing the things that you wanted to do or you thought you wanted to do, and the way that you thought you wanted to do, they appear to be doing your thing? Or are they outright doing your thing? Have they stolen maybe some stuff from you or ripped you off? And the resentment, the annoyance, the frustration of seeing that happen has just got you stopping in your tracks. Instead of staying on track, you have stopped in your tracks because the comparison monster is like, I got you. If that's you, this one is for you. So I'm Sensei Victoria Whitfield, founder of strategicmeditation.com. You can find us on the Skool app under the Be Visionary Movement. And this is another business energy flow forecast for you to keep you inspired and energized so that you can continue to endure in service. I want you to increase your energy so that you can increase your impact, because you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. This video is meant for you to watch at the beginning of the day, today, or repeat is best, rinse and repeat as necessary. If comparison monster is your thing, you want to bookmark this and just set it in a daily recurring event at the beginning of each day on your Google Calendar with the link straight to this live stream YouTube message, so that you have the ability to set your mind right so that you can stay on track. Set your mind right at the beginning of the day so that you stay on track. This is our third installment, by the way, in the Stay on Track series. And my spirit guides has me speaking on what is preventing us as a community, right? Of healers, of helpers, of conscious entrepreneurs, of problem solvers and leaders. People want to get out there and be impact makers and influencers. What is stopping us? What are the problems that we face around staying on track? Because you told me on our YouTube channel that you want to know more about staying on track. By the way, did you see parts 1 and 2? Comment below. If you did, give me a shout out. Let me know if this speaks to you. And today in particular, right, as we say in Reiki, I'm a Reiki master, just for today, kyo dake wa, today, just for today, our focus is going to be on divorcing the comparison monster. Let's get into this. So what's coming in first and foremost is how important it is to recognize the significance of jealousy. What does it mean when we feel jealous? Or shout out to you if you are so disconnected from your shadow that you're like, I don't get jealous. I don't get jealous at all. I just notice things. Like I notice what they're doing over there, and that's annoying, and that bothers me, and that's nothing compared to me. But I don't get jealous. I don't get jealous. I'm hot. I'm fire. I'm this. I'm that. I am. Be kind to yourself. We all get jealous, and it's important to acknowledge, what does jealousy mean? Jealousy, this is a writer-downer. Jealousy is desire. Jealousy is desire. It is passion. It's a toxic form and a toxic expression and an immature expression of desire, but it is desire. It is passion. And having a burning desire is one of the precursors to high achievement and success. So this series, by the way, is a part of our ongoing book study of Think and Grow Rich. So shout out to you if you've read it. And we're going to be reading a selection from it in a moment. But I wanted to bring that forward for you of the importance of honoring your jealousy, that it's not just they are wrong, right? And we're blaming them. I'm a victim. Listen, my name is Victoria. I can't with the victim. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and instead I turned it into a clothing line. By the way, this series is sponsored by me. Click on the link in the description if this is ministering to you, or if you believe in the work of this channel, if you want to buy merch for yourself or for others who you want to see be visionary, right? Because being the visionary means this: you are the one who sees in the dark. You are the one who sees what shall be in the vision and wakes up to deal with what is. That's what makes you visionary. You're not just a dreamer. You're a doer, right? So be kind to yourself in the process of doing, in the process of problem solving for others and for your industry. You find yourself being attacked by, struck by, or even becoming the comparison monster. Jealousy is desire. So that means what they have is what you want. Instead of blaming, shaming, and maiming others, be kind to yourself. Go and get a pen and pad and be like, all right, how'd they do that? And write it down. Okay, what about what they're doing pisses me off the most? Oh, I hate that they can spend time with their kids and make that much money. And go ahead and erase that I hate and say I want to. I hate that they can spend times with their kids and make that much money. Meaning I want, I desire, I am passionate about spending time with my kids and making that much money. Be kind to yourself. The comparison monster doesn't need to be blamed, shamed, or maimed. It can actually be tamed, and we're going to talk about how we could go about doing that today, starting right now. So if the problem is comparing yourself to others and feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like you're always behind, and feeling like, well, what's the point, right? Or I'm going to keep trying, but I'm never going to be so-and-so, right? If that is what is draining you and stopping you from staying on track, distracting you from staying on track, there are some things that Spirit wants you to hear. And I've gathered some science, some research, and some inspiration intuitively to lift you up, right? The teacher within all of us is ready to guide and help and mentor. Let's listen in. So first and foremost, going to Think and Grow Rich, right? So what do we do? How? Not just what is the problem? The problem is, okay, something's blocking us from staying on track. This weekend in particular, today in particular, we are looking at the comparison monster as really distracting. It's just like the monster jumping on the train tracks. It's stopping the train. Like, whoa, hit the brakes. You're never gonna be good enough. If that's your problem, first thing that we got is the solution and answering to it. My spirit guides drew me to, in our study of chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich, the chapter on desire, by the way, was this quote: "An accident that changed a life. We bought a phonograph." Phonograph is basically an old school record player where the speaker is a horn. But you play the record, and once the dial hits, it starts to create music coming out of the horn. "We bought a phonograph," Napoleon Hill writes. "When the child heard the music for the first time," this is his son, "he went into ecstasies and promptly appropriated the machine. On one occasion, he played a record over and over for almost 2 hours, standing in front of the phonograph with his teeth clamped on the edge of the case." If you've been reading along with us in chapter 2 of Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you know that this chapter is about his son who was born without ears and was told he was going to be deaf his entire life. This quote says, they bought a phonograph and he went into ecstasies, right? He played the record over and over for almost 2 hours, standing in front of the phonograph with his teeth clamped on the edge of the case. The significance of this self-formed habit of his did not become clear to us until years afterward, for we had never heard of the principle of bone conduction of sound at that time. Shortly after he appropriated the phonograph, meaning he grabbed it and he's like, "It's mine," I discovered that he could hear me quite clearly when I spoke with my lips touching his mastoid bone at the base of his skull. Having determined that he could hear the sound of my voice plainly, I began immediately to transfer to his mind the desire to hear and speak. What are we getting from this? In this quote from Think and Grow Rich, we are looking at Napoleon Hill's son's experience of discovering sound and communication for the first time in his life as a child. And because he's a child, he ran to it. And what does any child do? They grab the thing, they put it in their mouth to explore, experience, understand, right? Immediately, he put the record player in his mouth. Bring in the comparison monster. My kid can't listen. My kid can't hear. My kid can't speak. Or wait a minute. My kid's weird because whenever we play music, he's sucking on the mic, like the radio. Oh, I'm so ashamed. Why can't he be like Bill and Susan's son up the street? He's a nice boy. You know, people wouldn't be looking at him weird if he's listening, like, because he's able to stand up straight and pay attention. He doesn't have to like put his mouth on stuff in order to listen. Instead of going into comparison monster mode, Napoleon Hill got curious. Instead of going into comparison monster mode, Napoleon Hill's child got curious. Excited by the raw experience, raw experiential data. He got curious about it and got as close to it, to the source of it, immediately and by any means necessary. Our first way out to divorce our intimate relationship with the comparison monster is to get curious about our own data. Your data, your unique data points, yours. Your data is sexy. In fact, your data is so sexy that it blows everyone else's data out of the water. If you were to start tracking what turns you on, what you define as success, what excites you, your whole life, your whole business, your finances, your relationship, your body, everything would change if you started getting excited about tracking and pursuing and getting curious about your data in your way. That boy was excited to hear the music. And he did it his way. He went and he put his mouth onto the phonograph. Later, science backed him up, talking about bone conduction for hearing, right? You have the bones in your ear that vibrate, and that's how you can hear what I'm saying, hear what anything is saying. That's why if you're at a rock concert, you're like, ooh, I feel the bass in my bones. Yeah, you really do. You're listening with your whole body. That's why it's so exciting. Approaching our own data without shame, like a child, is so empowering, right? Be open to divorcing the comparison monster and getting excited about your own data. What is your data? What is your goal, your vision, your desire? Are you clear on it? Or are you only going according to what Cosmopolitan says is beauty? Are you only going according to what Men's Health says is handsome? Are you only going according to what so-and-so $1 million coach says and is an acceptable business? Are you only going according to what so-and-so on the TV says is what Americans want or what men want or what Nigerians want or what Australians want? Like, are you going by somebody else's definition of what's important? If you want to go by your definition of what's important, you have to start tracking the things that happen in your life that are important and significant to you. Get curious about your own data. Like for me, my life changed recently when I noticed I don't really want to track my weight on the scale. I want to check on and track body fat and BMI and muscle mass. I needed a more robust scale in order to track the actual data points that I'm interested in. I don't just care about a number of how many pounds are weighing down this device when I stand on it. No, I need to know what's the composition of the body. Because I want to keep my muscle. I love that I have 100 pounds according to my new scale. I have 100 pounds of solid muscle on this frame. That's friggin' awesome. Yeah. But if I lose weight, am I going to lose from those 100 pounds of muscle? Or am I going to lose, and am I going to be able to tell that I am losing from, the 60 or so pounds of fat that are on the frame? Do I have a way of tracking that? If I just have a basic scale, I don't, right? Get excited about your own data. That's my example. But let's look at another example. You just, for others, it might be, okay, you're doing profit first. So you got to get excited about and curious about, okay, well, what exactly are my numbers in these bank accounts? What's happening here? What are my tax numbers? How much do I need to make sure is set aside before I even think about spending and going for new programs and issues? It's like track your data. Like Oprah's data, Tony Robbins' data, Russell Brunson, Mama Gina, like it doesn't matter. Anyone else's data is nowhere near as sexy as yours, right? But let's get into some of the science. So we looked at what Think and Grow Rich said. So we have some history. How about AI? We've been journeying with different articles on AI in this series in particular. And for today, the article that I'm pulling from is from, let me see here, science.org, titled, How Researchers Are Teaching AI to Learn Like a Child. Machine learning algorithms may need programmed instincts to gain common sense. Girl, we all need some common sense. Common sense is not necessarily common. But let's read by Matthew Hudson. The quote says, Vicarious, a robotics software company in San Francisco, California, is taking this idea further with what it calls schema networks. Those systems too assume the existence of objects and interactions, but they also try to infer the causality that connects them. So not only things are related, but why they are related. That's causality. By learning over time, the company's software can plan backward from desired outcomes as people do. Such as, I want my nose to stop itching, scratching it will probably help, right? Because I remember that scratching it worked before, and scratching things is helpful, right? So that's a schema. The researchers compared their method with a state-of-the-art neural network on the Atari game Breakout, in which the player slides a paddle to deflect a ball and knock out bricks. Because the schema network could learn about causal relationships, such as the fact that the ball knocks out bricks on contact no matter its velocity, it didn't need extra training when the game was altered. You could move the target bricks or make the player juggle 3 balls, and the schema network still aced the game. The other network failed. Besides our innate abilities, humans also benefit from something most AIs don't have: a body. To help software reason about the world, Vicarious is embodying it so it can explore virtual environments, just as a baby might learn something about gravity by toppling a set of blocks. Or like Napoleon Hill's baby would learn that it actually does have the ability to hear, even though it wasn't born with ears, simply by biting on the thing that is making the exciting vibrations. So connecting this again to the comparison monster in our conversation about divorcing our relationship with the comparison monster. Your data is sexy. In fact, your data is so sexy that it's going to make you crush the competition every single time because of, let me get this word right, your schema networks. Your unique schema networks of causality. In plain terms, you know how things work for you better than anybody else. No coach has access to all the data like you do for you. That's why your data is sexy. That's why you've got to divorce your relationship. You've got to release. This is a release week. If we're looking at the lunar cycle, you got to release your allegiance to your submission to this comparison monster. It's not getting you anywhere because You need access to your unique schema networks in order to beat out the competition every single time. That AI robot that was working on its own schema networks in relationship to the ball bouncing game beat out all the other AI robots because it focused on its schema, its own relationship to trial and error. Its own experience determined its own learning. But, robots are learning faster than we are, simply because they don't have the distraction of believing in a comparison monster. Wouldn't it be interesting if we were to program them with that flaw? You don't have to continue your relationship. You can divorce the comparison monster just for today. Kyo dakeba, as we say in Reiki, in Japanese. Just for today, divorce the comparison monster, because your data is sexy. Your definition of what is successful is successful. Somebody else's definition, your teachers, your parents, your mom, your dad, your kids' definition of what is successful and acceptable is nothing compared to yours. Your data is sexy. We're going to round off today's reset and mindset to get you on track with the tarot card of the day. And remember, rinse and repeat. Watch it every day this week. We have the 9 of Earth. Let me see. The 9 of Earth. 9 of Earth. Enjoying life's little luxuries. Spending quiet time alone. Successful self-employment, and it is coming right side up, meaning as a confirmation. Your self-reliance, wisdom, and restraint have paid off. You've done excellent work and prepared for this time in your life. This has provided you with the opportunity to take it easy and enjoy some luxuries. You value your own company. You find peace and contentment in your quiet time alone. You're pursuing deeper meaning in life, so you retreat inward for inspiration. Additional meanings of this card: successful self-employment, and so it is. Unexpected financial windfalls. The appreciation of nature and animals. Home improvement and redecorating. I can give a testimony. This is a you already know. It's right side up, and this card is only about you. This is where we're going to leave off for the week. I'm going to give a testimony. I was decluttering my space in the way that I wanted to, working on the piece of my space that I really wanted to work on the other day. And I found a gift card that still works for $25. I didn't even know. I'm like, what in the world? Money? I'm going within and I'm finding money? Yeah. Your data is sexy. You handling yours is sexy for you. Go on and do it and enjoy it, because you have been doing a really good job. And it's okay to stay on your track. Or as they say, stay in your lane. Mind your business. Pun intended. Take care of your business and your affairs, your corporation. Make sure it's clean before you start looking at and comparing how your business is doing to someone else's. No. Do you know your numbers? Do you know what's been working? Like this card says, the 9 is completion. Like, you've been killing it. Like, give yourself some closure with some appreciation. Earth is your resources. So this is your resources of time, money, energy, and space and relationships. Time, money, energy, space, and relationships is Earth. How you manage those resources. Like, are you aware of what you are working with? The comparison monster exists to make sure that you have no idea what you are working with, so that you get super exhausted, super fast, and abandon staying on the track that Great Spirit put you in. To make sure that you fail at following through on the purpose that you have been called to. I don't think so. But in the words of one of my spiritual teachers, Joanne Manzella, thank you, sister, for liberating me. She said, carry this with you. What is the pattern in me that is creating this situation right now? If you're exhausted, ask yourself that. What is the pattern in me that is creating this situation right now? And just for today, consider that that pattern in you is the comparison monster, and not looking at and appreciating, enjoying, savoring your own data first. Comment below what's coming up for you hearing all this. My prayer, my hope, my desire, my prophecy over you is that you stay on track, hit the mark, press forward towards the high calling that you have been anointed for. You're here for it in this industry, in this life. Go get it. Go get it. And don't let yourself be distracted today. Okay? So I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. And we'll see you next week. Bye for now. Bye, sexy.